Okay. And today we're going to be talking with my guest here. She will decide whether she wants to use her name or not. I'm going to call her by the name that by her Substack name, which is the Language of Orgasm. Okay. That in itself piques everyone's interest. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the neuroscience of speaking desire without fear. No, we're going to the neuroscience of dirty talk without fear. Okay, so you can also include desire in there, and pleasure and seduction and all of those things, which I'm going to have my guests to talk about. Okay, after I give her a brief introduction. Okay. She is a premier online sex education platform, okay, for a community dedicated to empowering women through comprehensive pleasure focused education, okay, operating under the guiding philosophy of pleasure with a syllabus. Okay. So I don't know if you guys brought your note, pen, and paper, but we will have the replay available shortly thereafter. Okay. So the platform bridges the gap between traditional sex education by providing women with the practical insights, okay, and giving them the autonomical knowledge and communication tools necessary to unlock, okay, vibrant, fulfilling, and intimate lives. I got tongue tied just thinking about it. Okay, so nevertheless, I'll leave the rest of her bio, okay, for the article, and we will delve into this conversation with my guest today. Please, I am honored to have you here today. Please tell us what brought you to Substack, okay? Talk to us about your leadership journey.
Yes, thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you for that welcome. It was a delight. And yeah, so my name is Samantha Kindheart, and I'm the founder of the Language of Orgasm, which is an online sex education school for women. Although there are a lot of males that are very interested in my content, which is, something that is pretty common with the regards of sex, like generally more males are very interested in this topic, which is how I also got into learning on my own journey with sex, is from a lover. He wanted to have actually better blowjobs. And I said, you know what? I want you to have better blowjobs too. So here we go. And away I went. And it was the best decision that I had ever made. It was also a little like, what, you don't like my blowjobs? But anyways, it was, I realized it's a very personal thing, and I needed to develop a much deeper understanding regarding sex. And Substack, I just want to say that I love this platform. It has been full of people like yourself, Margaret, and the audience who's joined and whoever is watching, of this receptive community where I felt like I could express myself very freely without being attacked by social media, which on other platforms that has been the case. And I do realize that, I take some of that responsibility myself. And that reminds me that I just want to say that, just for the sake of clarity, that everyone's 18 years or older, just to have that consent, and who's on the live. And there might be some words that, if they are at all triggering, just know that you can stop the video but I wanted to highlight that just before we move forward. I'm watching your face, Margaret. You're okay too?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Thanks. So yes, so Substack, I've been able to express and write about content where the audience actually wants to read it and receive it. So it has been a platform where I can also just do so many things. So thank you so much, Substack. I am very grateful that you created this for us.
Can I ask you a question before you
Sure.
go any further?
Yeah.
Okay, when you're writing about sex, okay, and you're talking about, PG-13, PG-18. So what do you classify when you're writing? You know what I'm saying about sex? It's kind of a gray area.
Yeah. So, okay. There is, there is a, yes. So that would be more on the erotica of maybe like the stories. That's what I'm thinking, like, or with descriptive language that could be considered violent. That's what I'm thinking of. And that's like the unethical kind of dirtier talk, if you want to consider it that way, which is for a lot of people highly desired, though. But for some of the population, it draws a line. So I think that's what you're talking about. If that's like, there's a little bit of a difference, and there is a line drawn with language to an extent of ethical erotic talk, because it could be too much for some. Just like when you go watch a movie, right? Like for some viewers,
Right,
it's
right.
just, you know, I this kind of violent film isn't something that I want to watch. And that's just a preference, right? But there are still a lot of people that want to watch those types of films. And you know what? Let's, you know, have that piece also available. So there is that boundary that that's coming to my mind as you ask that question. Did I answer you?
Somewhat, because who defines that? Does Substack define that? Do you define that? Because these are the questions we should be asking. I'm just the devil's advocate, and I'm sure that other people are thinking it. They might not be asking you specifically, but they're thinking it.
Yeah. So I, what I'm, what I've noticed is the people that write that way, they are having a separate account, like, or they have it's a separate section
Okay.
for that content.
I didn't know. That's why I'm asking. When I saw you on Substack, then I came over to take a look, a gander, to see what was up. So I was just wondering.
Yeah. So I primarily, there will be some sex words, of course, because I use a lot of times the anatomical, but I have some variety of words that are not anatomical. I mainly write about issues and the stories, or coming to the other side of, like, a hero's journey, like now, walking them through on that sense. So my writing is more of kind of educational stories. I talk about like the therapeutic. I rewrote one of my stories of, like, working with couples, where I give them the story of the Christmas tree, which is kind of describing what relationships are like, and I use a Christmas tree to describe that. So my content is, it's more therapeutic and educational, and then storytelling. Like I had another piece of content that was, is AI replacing your husband? Are we becoming so like kind of fragile where we're, not able to really handle the disappointments in life or conflict as much as well as we could because of the AI influence that's like flattering us so much as a human being or distracting us. So that's another example of my content, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's good to see what your parameters are, what your inner and outer boundaries are, where you can go, because you have OnlyFans and all of these things. So
Oh, right.
you being a professional and being helping people, how far do you go? You know what I'm saying? It's just a question.
Yes. Yeah. No, okay. Thanks for giving me more context. So, yes, I talk about issues and then I talk about how to establish like safety, how to establish arousal. I have another article that's going to be coming out about desire. I've been doing masturbation content for the month of May because it is masturbation month, and I basically do I've been doing private guided lives where I just walk people through the experience, and that's like fully clothed, or you're in like a yoga top or something like that, or whatever, but you're clothed and it's still like everyone's own experience. And I'm just asking questions, and walking people through the physiology of the body, right? And then speaking about, okay, well, here's a sensation. This is, you could be your body awakening up. You may notice this, and I'll give the descriptive language with the physiology pointing so that the mind can connect to the body in more detail. Oh, that's what arousal is. Oh, okay. So that's, I'm feeling the warmth here in this area. And so it's guiding in that sense where there isn't this language. I never had it really of like, oh, that's what this means in my body. And if nobody is talking about it, there can be this confusion, or what our mind likes to do is distort, delete, and generalize information if it does not have information. So a lot of times what happens is the movies have created this kind of ideal, right, of a relationship, a romance, of sex, right? We watch a movie and all of a sudden we're on the sex scene, but we did not have any discussion of, oh, do you have any STDs that I need to know about?
Do you have
Do
any condoms?
Yeah. Do you like, are we, what are we going to see each other tomorrow? Is this just a one-off thing? There is no, at least the movies that I've watched, so I'm speaking from, and then the clients who I work with, there's really this gap in communication. Okay, well, we talk about healthy relationship. Oh, we don't
What is
want
that?
this, right? We don't want a narcissist. Oh, we don't want this avoidant partner, and we want healthy, secure relationships. And it's like, oh, okay, great. Yes, I want this. Well, what is this? How do we even navigate it? What does that even look like? What do I need to do to facilitate that?
You know what? I think we should start there before we start about sex, because once you add sex, you just complicate the whole thing. Okay? Start having these conversations first. Talk about how you love yourself. Okay? You want to show somebody else pleasure. Well, let's start with showing you how to pleasure yourself. Okay? Showing yourself how to hug yourself, how to
Exactly.
show yourself gratitude, how to respect yourself. Start with yourself. And then once you love yourself to the fullest of part, then we can reach out to others and share this love with others. That's just my opinion. Because otherwise, you're gonna end up in a fucked up situation with a narcissist or whatever, and then you're gonna have to go back to the drawing boards and start. Okay, I should have started loving myself before I decided to add another person. Okay.
Yes. I there was a whole bunch of heart comments lighting off. So yes, I love it. Exactly. Of loving ourselves. And a part of that is also having the language. Well, what do I want? What am and there is this hesitation sometimes that I've noticed, whether it is we just haven't thought about it. That could be we haven't had it role modeled. That's another thing. If we didn't have that example where someone was role modeling this for us, well, we don't know what we don't know. And then expressing it, right? And also expressing it without needing the other person to comply. Or if we need to communicate like a boundary, well, if I don't hear back from you, then I'm going to just say that's a no. And having that kind of language to also bring more clarity for yourself and the other person of what you do want, because we can express things of what we do want where it gives more secure connection with our communication as well, to give us clarity. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to check back with you in a few days, or things like that, so we can say more things to give us more clarity too with what we do want.
A lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes we don't know what the hell we want.
And that
So,
changes as well. So we need to give ourselves also
yes,
permission, or just allow that we're human beings, and that we can change our mind, right? Like
yes, we can.
yes. And then also to verbalize this with our lover, right? And to speak that into existence. And that's a beautiful thing, because it's showing that our desire has changed and that we want something different. But what you're talking about is what I also write a lot about. There's the sex, and then there is the relationship, which they go kind of very much in tandem, and they need to be.
Not necessarily.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
because most of these things are transactional. Okay, we want what we want, and a relationship is really a lot of times the last thing we want. We just want the sex. Let's just keep it real. We don't
So
want the
there's that too.
attachments. We don't want the attachments to go with it.
So there's that too. And that is choosing, I just want to have sex. And,
Just say that then.
and
Say
saying
it
it.
then.
Exactly. And then speaking that into existence, both man and woman, because it gives so much clarity for the other person so that they can say, oh, I want that. Or no, I don't want that. So thank you, but no thank you. And then everybody has peace. We can go and get our desires actually met by the people who align with that.
It's
Right?
so simple. It's
So
simple.
simple.
Open your mouth and say what you want. Okay, you might decide, okay, well, I want to have sex with two other people. Okay, so we'll say that. Don't just tell me, uh, okay, have me thinking you just want a monogamous relationship when you actually want a polyamorous relationship. We'll say that. Then let me decide whether I want to participate or not. Okay?
Yes.
We
So
need to open our
intention.
mouth and be honest about our needs and our wants. Whatever relationship it is.
Yes. And I know that a lot more women, they would be having a lot more sex if they were actually saying what they expected on the other side, right? So, and what does that look
Yes.
like? Oh, okay, well, I want to have sex once a week, or I would like to have this arrangement where we meet on the weekdays, or I would like to have a monogamous relationship. What do you, like, what do you want? And getting very clear on that, because then we can say it. We're much more likely also to get it.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Why are we here? Okay.
Yes.
It's real simple. We just complicate things. And I realized that traveling overseas, I see, living in the United States, and then you go over to Europe, where they have the spas, you have the naked beaches and things like that. Americans is just too hung up on themselves. Get over yourself. People that have a good time, get their groove back,
Margaret.
have the best time in their life. Okay? Get over yourself. People go in the spas, they take their clothes off, whatever. They just let it all hang out and have a good time. Okay? Get over yourself, have a good time. Okay? Because when you're on your deathbed, then you be like, damn, I should have had that. I should have did that. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna do it. Now, while you can, while the blood is still warm in your veins. Like, come on,
Yes.
let's go. Okay?
I love it. Yes,
Shit.
exactly. So you bring up a huge point, and I'm so glad that you said that about, overseas and America. America is, wow, like it is just very different with sex and like it is very much a cultural thing, and it is, I think some of it is due to the lack of education, the lack of just sexual expression in general. Everything is regulated, and it's like, well, we should talk about sex, but oh no, we cannot talk about sex. It is, yes, a lot of the world does not operate this way, and it is a disconnect in the entire belief system for a lot of Americans to even adopt, like, oh, that, people are doing things quite differently overseas.
Yes.
And there's no hesitation. It is people are very comfortable in their skins. They talk about it. There's no issues.
They do it, whatever. Who gives a damn? At the end of the day, what you do behind closed doors is your business. Okay? I don't care. People need to mind their own business. Okay? Live and let live. All them rich people, they talking all that stuff to us about all this stuff. You don't think they doing all that stuff? You don't think they having all these parties and so on and so forth? Of course they are. Behind closed closed doors, okay?
Exactly. They are. A
Of
lot
course
of
they
times. A
are.
lot of times. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So do you, okay? So when I die, I'm gonna die with a smile on my face, okay? Cause I did
Absolutely.
everything that I thought that I wanted to do, okay?
I
So
love
I
it.
tried it and I didn't like it, okay? I don't have to do it again. Next, but it's a lived experience, and I say, yeah, I did it,
Exactly.
and I'm a
Yes,
better person because of it.
you are. And so so the embodiment that you're showing up at, like, this is the ideal, like, place of where to be at as a woman is this. I'm doing me, right? Like,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely. We taking
And
our power back.
yes. Expressing our desire.
Yes, because we couldn't before
Correct.
now we couldn't say nothing. So whatever I want to say, I'm gonna say it,
Yes.
and I'm
And
gonna
then,
do it, and I don't give a damn who don't like it.
yes,
And if I
exactly.
lose, and if I lose 10 subscribers today, I'll gain 20 tomorrow.
Yeah, and
So
and
let's go.
and then why do we even want those 10 subscribers that don't even connect with what we're saying? Like,
I don't.
I don't think that's
I
helpful for
don't.
anybody.
No. And I'm not gonna live like in a box anymore. I'm not living in a box anymore. And I'm not making myself small for anybody anymore. So they need to get over it because this is the new me.
That's
Okay.
right.
The other one is gone. She no longer exists. Okay. And
This
that's
is
where
the
we
new
at
me.
today. That's where we at today. And everybody need to elevate and liberate themselves as well.
The lived embodiment of you, Margaret. This is truly so powerful because it's you're speaking your desire wholeheartedly and you are vibrant and you're alive, right? Do you see how you're
Yes, I'm
alive,
alive. Damn Skippy. Damn Skippy. I'm gonna go
right? I
out
mean,
kicking
what
and
are we
screaming.
doing?
I have
Sorry.
no idea.
I mean,
No, go ahead.
like what are we doing as humans? Like, we're meant to be alive.
I feel alive. Okay.
You are alive.
That's
Very
that's
alive.
because I stand in my truth. Whether regardless of who don't like it. And that's the first time I can say that in my life this year. And I'm gonna continue to say it regardless of who don't like it. Okay. Because I'm free. I'm free. And with that freedom, I can have all the joy, pleasure, desire, and anything else I want in this world. The only person standing in our way is ourselves. The person in the mirror. That's the only person standing in the way.
I truly agree with you. I have a question. Do you mind sharing what shifted, you said, this year?
Yes, because I had trauma bond, okay?
Okay.
I was healing from mother and father wounds, okay? And until I healed those wounds, I keep attracting narcissists in my life because
Mm,
I'm an empath. So a narcissist attracts empaths, and empaths attract narcissists. So since I done healed these wounds now, they no longer have any more power over me, okay? Because this trauma bond is not love. It's a form of manipulation, a form of control. And once you realize, if you can force yourself away from this bond, that you know this eventually going to destroy you, but you keep going back to it because that's all you know, okay? So you have to find ways to break those chains. It's not easy, but we have to. Each and every one of us have to.
yeah, I well, I'm really proud of you and the work that you've done, which is something like you just don't know what it's like if you haven't experienced it,
Exactly.
which I think
Exactly.
makes it the most challenging part. And if our parents, for a lot of societies, we're supposed to kind of like look up to them as our, person to reflect back who we are, give us guidance. And when we've had issues or stuff with our bonds with our parents, it can be quite a bit of work to move through.
Some people never move through it. I thank God that I was fortunate enough to do
Yes,
that. Okay. And that's why the work that I do and the work that you do is so important to help people work through that so they can ascend. Okay. Um, that's what I have to say on that. It's work. You have to work on it every day. Okay. You work through the personal demons. We all have them. Okay. It's not easy. You face them demons every day. And you keep asking yourselves, is it true? Is it true? Okay. Because being abused by your mother and your father and your
yes,
entire family, you have no who can you trust? You have to trust yourself, and I have to trust God. That's where I put my faith and my trust.
beautiful. Yes, and I I can tell that first of all, that's I'm like I just love that you shared that, and it is very powerful to be on the other side of that. So I'm really glad that you are doing the work that you do to help other people, because going back, we just don't know what something's like if we've never experienced it, right?
Yes.
So, and I think that comes into play with a lot of the sex, where if we were not shown, or if sex was not talked about and there was a lot of silence, we have maybe this illusion around sex, or these thoughts that, like, oh, like in the movies, it's just going to naturally happen this way. And then when we experience life, it doesn't show up that way. We need to like speak these words. What do we say? How do we navigate that? How do we navigate our emotions while we are speaking these words, and still come back to trusting ourselves after even saying what we desire to another person, right? Because are they going to hold it, or are they going to honor it? Are they going to respect it? Or are they going to, how are they going to? So those are also, I think, where it's coming back to the trust in yourself. And the dirty talk is speaking your desire.
Can I say something about
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Okay. Dirty talk for me, it first you have to establish trust. Okay. If you don't have, if you first of all, I have to first trust myself to allow myself to feel free enough to trust another person. And I haven't gotten to that point yet. I have been hurt so many times. I am not willing to trust anybody at this point in time. I'm just telling you the truth.
Yeah.
So dirty talk means nothing to me
Right.
without
So,
trust. Without trust.
yes. And so your talk about, so there's a lot, so there's a couple there's doorways in the language of orgasm before you get to the dirty talk, right?
Right.
So there is the trust, which I call it the safety, which is part of the trust, part of the and then there's the consent, right?
Right.
So that's, do I want dirty talk? Do they want dirty talk? Like, are we both on board? What is dirty talk to you? Right? So there would be those doorways of moving into the dirty talk if that occurs, right? But the dirty talk would be something that could add spice to a relationship, right? Where
No
they,
doubt. If it's
yes,
genuine, yes.
right? And because let's be life is boring. It is boring. We're gonna, a lot of stuff is, eh, there's a lot of aspects of boredom, and that's why we do the distractions and all these other things, because it is boring. So the dirty talk adds spice to a relationship that has been, people are married, they've been together for a long time. It adds some flavor. It gives some more meaning and connection back to the couple, where they both can explore this if they've never done it before. Because for not everybody, but some people, this is very new. They've never done dirty talk. It is because they haven't experienced other people doing dirty talk. So it can be unfamiliar, like it's just unknown. So the couple can approach it like, we're going to learn this together, right? And that can feel
Yes.
very good as teamwork. Just like our live today, it's teamwork. There's a sense of, we're moving in the same direction. We both have aligned goals. Same thing with the relationship. They both want to have a more meaningful, deeper connection or different dynamic. Because a lot of times with couples, the dynamic changes. Like maybe the man was leading a lot of the relationship, and now as the relationship has matured, the woman has more of a leadership role or things like that. So it's taking into account the changes in a relationship of having some language and more fulfilling sex. But you bring up a really good point, which is the fact that there isn't this language in the bedroom, and that is because it's, I mean, there isn't a lot of evidence that's shown, even in like a lot of porns, there aren't really that great of porns with really good dirty talk that I have found. There's moaning and stuff like that, but there isn't this super erotic, for me, at least I haven't found them.
Can I say something? It's a multitude of things. It's like setting the mood. Okay. Flowers, dimming the lights, music, you know, incense. Um, it's a multitude of things, not just one thing. It depends on the person. Maybe it starts in the mind, mental stimulation, okay?
Yeah.
Conversation. Um, so again, it's multitude of things. It could also be role play. Okay. Maybe you want to come in as an officer or a nurse or a doctor or a police officer, which I think is nice with some handcuffs. Oh, okay.
I
I'm
love
just
it.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a multitude of things. So whatever you envision in your mind, okay, it's not just one thing. It's a multitude of things and actions.
Yes. So I love role play. So let me talk to you about the science of the multitude of things that are happening. So when we're saying these words, our brain is being lit up, which is the mental stimulation, right? So the dirty talk is you're also creating this language, which is creating even more arousal in the brain. And it also turns off our judgment part of our brain, right? And because we can't have our internal voice, that judge narrative voice of, ooh, is Margaret, listening to me? Or is there, do I look okay on camera? Am I smelling okay? Did I put on my deodorant? Versus me talking about that I'm here on the live and talking about, vagus nerve, right? Our vagus nerve is connected to our throat and our voice and speaking and our pelvic floor, right? Which is needed to be to a certain degree relaxed. And if we add some words, even if it's just more size or good, or even the floor play of flirting of, I want to devour you later, that can create, the dopamine also in the brain of like, this is going to happen, something to look forward to. But going back to in the bedroom, adding the sound, hums, booms, noises like that can help with also the pelvic floor. It turns off the voices in the head of the judgment, making verdicts. And even just starting with that of, I like how you kiss me, or something like that felt good when you did this. Oh, I want more of that. That also gives the other person direction to do more of that, right? Because when you are saying, I like this, I want this, this is also sending a signal that you're inviting more of that, and it gives them more direction as well to do more of that for you. So you're more likely to have more physical pleasure in that sense from your partner. So it's a two-way dynamic, and it's that mental stimulation of the mind, mental stimulation, also not mental stimulation, but using your mouth, your voice, your throat as also a sex organ.
Your hands.
Pardon me?
Your hands as well.
Yep,
Okay.
your hands. Exactly.
Okay.
I have a guide for the masturbation. It's called the practice hand.
Okay. All right. Whatever works.
But
Okay.
yeah, our hands are also connected to our brain. And, that's also even in writing out your words. You could even do that. And that just creates more of this is actually going to happen in your life by physically writing it out, because it requires more neural pathways in the brain to light up. And then when you are adding your voice, words,
Yes. Yes. It
it
reverberates through the body, through the world. Actually, that's why I like to do those spoken words. Okay, because they do affect the body. Okay, when you pay attention to the
yep.
body, okay, the body will tell you what words won't. Okay, you will know if you pay attention to a person's body what they want and what they don't want. I just wanted to say that.
Yes, our body is communicating our
It
body
is.
language. Yeah, exactly. And the words, uh, so when we're having critical words towards ourselves, it can also create some cortisol in our body, which we want to usually avoid, right? So having, even doing the humming or dirty talk to yourself, right? I encourage, and in one of my articles, I write about doing dirty talk to yourself. It is increasing your own arousal. It's creating even a deeper connection to yourself. It's using your voice, your body to help you, right? It's another tool that we have in life that is for free.
Yes, why not tap into it? Okay? I couldn't agree more. Okay? Definitely. Because when you talk about sex, mind, body, and spirit, they work hand in hand. Okay? So it's like poetry. It's like the written, it's right like the written and the spoken word. Okay? Music and art. It's
Yes.
it's it's free, it's free flowing. Okay? You are the author. Okay? What are you creating? Okay? Synchronicity. Okay? So, yes, it's a communication of desire. Okay? Verbal intimacy. Okay? Communication of your desires, your wants, and your needs. Okay? You should be able to do that confidently without fear. And if you can't, then you need to take a look at that and ask yourself why. Maybe it's from trauma that you've experienced in life, you know?
It could
And
be.
yeah, it could
So
be.
it could be a lot of narratives. It can also be an identity thing where someone will feel this is not me, this is a porn star, and I'm not a porn star, so I'm not going to do this. Or I'm a wife, so I'm not going to show up this way in the bedroom. I can't do this identity and then move back to being a wife. Or I can't do this because I'm a mother, so I can't show up in the bedroom and do dirty talk because I'm a mother. I'm a good girl, or I've just never had this language, or I fear being judged also by my partner. So a couple things is, so the confidence with the dirty talk, it may sound gibberish, right? When we first start talking, it may not even make sense or can sound weird. And I very much encourage that, because at least it's just getting the words out or saying something. And then eventually, with more practice, the more we do something, it will start to feel easier. I do have on my website where I give 69 dirty talk phrases, if people give me their email, where it's like some words to say. And there's nothing wrong with looking at a script or hearing something that you like and then saying, "Ooh, I like that." Your body is going to, what you talked about, your body's going to say, "Ooh," there will be a little movement forward, or your eyes will widen. And that could mean that you like that phrase. Or if you don't like that phrase, maybe you cringe, that could be a word that you don't like. So with couples, it's really important to have a conversation to discuss words that are really a turn off, to find some sort of harmony balance between the two of you and have that discussion. I go into a deep dive in that with the language of orgasm, and also working with one-on-one with people on how to set that up. But it's important to understand that what I like as a word and what you like as a word, they could be different. And in the
Absolutely.
bedroom, we want to take that into consideration and have those conversations definitely outside of the bedroom.
I also want to say that I find dancing is very, very it can be very passionate and desirable, especially like the tango, and dancing with your partner, it can definitely cause an arousal.
Yes, the like moving of the hips. And you can even say words to yourself when in the dancing, like right, left, right? Because you're creating more impact also in getting words out while you're moving. So it's just another way to allow kind of these erotic words or these sexual words to be expressed as well. To just find ways to use your voice whenever
Absolutely.
you're having the arousal, and you're going to then have more arousal because you're having the language. So eventually you can train even, which is like exactly like a trigger word. If you think about it, a trigger word, but it's sending you into aversion, you can have the opposite. When I hear this word, like when you think of a pet name or a nickname, oh, when he calls me that, I love it, right? It gets you into a happier state. The same thing, you can train yourself, you can train your partner, you can have this beautiful communication dialogue, which is the foreplay throughout your day using words.
Yeah, I was thinking too. There's a middle ground between pleasure and pain.
Right. So, yeah, and everybody's really different about that too, right? Because
Right.
what somebody considers pain is pleasurable for another person. So
Go
that is a
figure.
whole nother topic altogether. So yeah, and defining what is pleasurable for you. So that's the part of the like with the masturbation classes is having that moment and to really connect with what is pleasurable for you. And then I have invite the people to do a journaling practice of writing, ooh, I liked this. And I liked, you know what? I liked a lot of pressure here and this. So when you have more dialogue and more information about your body, you're able to navigate in the bedroom a lot more confidently because you know what you want. When you know what you want, you're able to do it. Your
Thank
behaviors
you.
start to match.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. If you're pleasuring yourself, you know what you like, and you can easily tell your partner this is what you need to do right here, 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 and here. Boom. Okay. Let's get to it.
That's
I'm
right.
just
Yeah,
saying, right? Yes.
you
Yes.
are. I love it.
And one of the problems is, to be honest with you, there's probably a small majority, maybe larger than we know, that haven't even had an orgasm their entire life. Bless their heart. I'm just saying. That's
Yes.
why we have to open our mouth. They say, oh, they be hollering, but they're not having an orgasm. They just want their partner to think they're having one. If you have one, you'll know. Okay.
Yes. You will know. Yes, there can be some things that are showing up and there are some people that don't. But it could be a combination of a couple things if a person hasn't orgasmed. For a lot of women, what I notice is the feeling of safety. Feeling safe is really important. So going back to that trust, turning off the thinking brain, and a lot of there can be a combination. A lot of it is just education. There isn't enough information or this talked about, and that can be another reason, or they may need to do some physiology exercises. It could be a combination of things. It would be very individual based. But the reason why we want to use like the humming or the sighing, this is helping our body turn on our parasympathetic nervous system. Our parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest part of our nervous system, which is where we can have the ideal orgasm, right? Being in that state. So doing hums, sighs, moaning, that will really help also create that regulated state, or the turning on the parasympathetic, doing the deep breaths. This is very useful. And it's using your body to regulate yourself to be in the moment.
Exactly, which means spontaneity, okay, and vulnerability.
Yes, which is so vulnerability, I think, is something that if society could develop, is that.
But you have to feel safe first to do either.
Yes, safe. So going back to, yes, feeling safe really with ourselves too,
Yes, yes.
which can be difficult. It can be, but it can be also developed, right? The more we do it.
I think it's just it's not something that I think it just have to be spontaneous, not something planned. You know, I'm just a spontaneous person. Okay, so um, again, it starts within the body, within the mind. Okay, and start having a conversation towards what you want, and just being transparent, being honest. Okay, and just being vulnerable, being yourself, and things will happen as they need to.
Yes. So when you say spontaneous, um, you're that. So there's desire, there's spontaneous, and then there's responsive. Would you consider yourself also spontaneous, like with desire for sex?
It's more to it than that. It's a spiritual thing. Okay, it's a
Okay.
conversation and everything, setting
Yes.
the mood and everything. It's not just bit bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. It's a
Okay. The
process.
arousal, the communication. Exactly.
It's like unwrapping a present.
Yes.
The
Right.
experience of that. Yes.
And our, yes, the community, yes. So that is what we can do. And we can have that with our language. And I'm so glad that you know that, because you can also say that to your lover, or you can encourage more of that, right? Because not everybody knows what we want. So we need to also say, oh, I really like when we talked about this, or how you made me like, I love your jokes, right? Of just saying, I like that conversation when we were talking here. I liked how I love it when you compliment me this way, right? And that just encourages more. It's giving, you're speaking what you like, your desire, and then you get more of that. So you're more likely to have better, more pleasurable experiences and feel better more often with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like it's attraction. It just happens. It's a natural thing. You're either attracted to a person or you're not. Okay? It's either physical or it's not. Otherwise, it's just maybe just a platonic friendship. So usually, you know that at the beginning when you meet a person, okay, whether you actually realize it at the beginning stages, but it doesn't take long to define what this relationship is as you continue communicating with the person. Okay.
Yes. So a couple things are showing up when you're talking. I'm wondering if you've discussed what you want and you know the person like well enough, or is it just like a physical pull that you're like really attracted to them physically, or just like chemistry? Like,
Chemistry, physically, mentally. If you can't stimulate me mentally,
yes.
you cannot stimulate me physically.
Yep.
That's it.
The mental stimulation is very important, and it I don't think is talked enough about, like going like the dirty talk is the mental stimulation. Like it is
Yeah, it
it because
is.
it creates arousal, right? It's like
Yes.
and the brain is the largest sex organ. So when you have the mental stimulation, your body is then also reacting, which you get the blood flow. You have, you know, the vulva starts to fill with blood. You start to feel more temperature rising, in your genitals. Yes, it's a
Yeah, of course.
physiological thing. And that's what
It
happens with
is.
language.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's why I say it's a multitude of things. It's physical, it's mental, emotional. It's all of these things. And it's like being in the flow. When you're in the flow, it's like you can write that article. You can do just about anything that you want if you're in that flow and you feeling it. It's just like anything is possible in that moment.
Yes, the flow state.
Yes, the flow state.
Yeah, anything is possible. In yes. And so when you're describing like when you meet someone, so there's a couple kind of connections. There's the mind connection, there's the heart connection, there's the gut connection, and the genital connection. And sometimes we just might have just the genital connection. Like there are a
Yeah.
lot of people in this world, and it may not all line up with one person, but ideally, if we can have all of them lined up, that would be wonderful. But for some people, it's just going to be all right. The mental and the in our genitals. I don't understand sex, but everyone thinks I'm sexy.
Who is that?
Joe, I just read.
I'm sure you are in your own way. We all are. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Embrace your what side she said what that was. Embrace that side of you. Okay? Yes.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, well, yes, and listen.
Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Your body won't tell you wrong.
Yes, and the dirty talk, it's being able to be heard. You're giving the other person the opportunity to hear you.
Absolutely. Are there any questions?
I saw some fun comments up there.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I think Dirty Talks is expressive. Each person underlying untapped desires because it takes a certain level of vulnerability to express it to your partner and don't want to be rejected for it. I guess that's something that has to be uh, broached a little at a time to see uh, how your partner. Let me see the last part of it. Well, we are okay. Let's say this: we are not going to necessarily like everything that our partner likes. Perhaps our partner like anal sex. I'm just saying, using it as an example. Okay, I don't like anal sex, so I have to decide whether I am going to satisfy my partner's request for anal sex or allow my partner to go out there and have anal sex with someone else. So I have to make that decision. Okay? Is it fair to me? Is it fair to me to tell my partner, you like anal sex and I don't, and you can't have it? That's a decision that you and your partner have to make. And you have to sit with it. Okay? And that's why we need to have these conversations with our partners at the beginning when we're courting. What is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? Don't wait until you get in the middle of the relationship and then say, oh, by the way, I like anal sex. Talk about all these things at the beginning of the relationship before you get your heart invested and then get your heart broken and say, no, I don't like that. And we're done. So establish these things from the beginning. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so well, a couple things. It can be very vulnerable of yes to speak about this. And it can also be you getting what you want too, right? So it is also giving clarity to the other person to make their own decision too of are they really invested as well? So, and it shows that you're actually interested in yourself, right? So, yes, it can be vulnerable, but you're interested in yourself. So, when you start saying these things, I'm an interesting person. So, I'm interested in myself. So, I'm going to say what I do want sexually. I do need to say these things also in the beginning because they are very important moving forward to know what direction you're going to take this relationship if you two want to move it forward or don't. Yes, of course, when we hear the person doesn't want this, but and that might be disappointing. On the flip side, would you rather be with somebody who is not going to ever meet what you want and you will be living with resentment or just going through life for their comfort versus finding someone who can maybe negotiate with you, have discussions, come up with a common ground, like example what Margaret said, and because people will negotiate if you open also that up as well. And there are a lot of people out there, and having that information in the beginning is so important because you don't have the investment. You haven't spent the time. You weren't pretending. You've been real, and authentic, honestly showing up for yourself and the other person because you're an interesting person, right? It's coming back to, I think, this line of I'm an interesting person, so I'm going to say what I do want sexually versus maybe anything else. Like, yeah, I'm an interesting person and having great sex is something I deserve.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you can stay by yourself.
And it's showing respect for the other person and the relationship, and it's building that trust, right? People, and if like, I think that it might be uncomfortable if we've never done it or if we've never said it because we just haven't done it, right? But that's it. But with a lot of things, if we haven't done it, there might be a little discomfort.
Give yourself some grace, okay? Take all the time that you need. Don't be pressured to have sex with somebody when you don't want it. If you don't want it, say it. And stick to it. Say, no, that's not something that I want to do. Period. Move on. Okay? Do you?
Yes. Yes. I I'm getting the understanding that that's from like in the beginning stages of a relationship where you're saying I don't want to have sex, where you would be making that comment.
For whatever reason,
Oh,
you
okay.
made this. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
So, and in relationships, it's also having that ability to say, I don't want to have sex, and then having a discussion of like, oh, okay, because what if our partner does want physical closeness? Like, how much willingness are we going to show up for our partner too? We need to consider that as well. So that's why having these discussions is so important in the beginning.
Exactly. Exactly. We need to have these conversations to avoid the tougher conversations later on down the road where you might have to make a decision. Well, okay, well, we have to end this relationship because that's not what I want. Okay. That's why you need to be up front, clear up front. Okay.
Yes, and it goes back to building that trust and the safety in the relationship. That's why.
Yeah. Maybe down the road, you might decide, you know what? I decided that I want to try anal sex and let's try it together.
Yes,
Okay. You might decide to change your mind later, and that's okay. You can do that. Okay.
exactly. Yes. And having those discussions around sex, when you set it up in the beginning, it makes it so much easier when you are moving through the relationship, when there is this thing called life that happens. And that's why you want to, I always say what you want in the beginning, like express it, be very clear. And if you do not want a long-term relationship or monogamy, say that too. That is so important to give that other person clarity because they may think that what you're doing, your behaviors implies monogamy or a committed relationship when it is not. It is your responsibility to say, I am just in it for sex. This is all that I can offer right now. And that is that, believe that person too when they are saying that. When a person says, this is all that I can do, this is what I want, believe them. Do not think otherwise. Believe what they are saying.
And if that's all you want, make sure you be honest with the person up front. Because like my mama used to tell me, when people lay down, somebody gonna get up with feelings. And she never lied. Okay, she never lied about that. So if that's all your intentions, be upfront with the person. Say it's just a booty call. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Next, call me when you're ready to have another booty call. Until then, don't call me. I'm not saying me. I'm just using that as an example. Okay. So that's all I got. Do you have any final words or suggestions for people?
Well, yes, I do. So I definitely recommend that people go to my website, get the 69 Dirty Talk. It's got a variety of examples. I mean, there's 69. Pick some that you like, add some flavor to your life, some foreplay. It will definitely increase the arousal for most people, and double check with the words that you're using, and if they don't like a particular word, accept it. In the bedroom, just don't use it and honor that. And this is foreplay through your day. It helps keep the aliveness in you. It keeps play in your life. It helps with boredom. It maintains the relationship connection, right?
Yes, solidifies it. And I want to say before I forget, no one to say that you have to start in the bedroom. You can start at the front door. You can start in the kitchen. So just get the bedroom out of your mind. I'm just saying.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I like how you emphasize that, because yes, the foreplay is all day. You can do it as a text. You can make just a comment like, I love how you walk. The way that you walk turns me on. When you move your hips from side to side, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And that isn't in necessarily the bedroom. And that adds more pleasure feelings towards you as a lover, right? Like the other person is feeling good. When we're feeling good, we're moving more towards that. If that, like, our feelings are running in our background all the time. So it's how we feel, right? How we feel. So the dirty talk is just increasing more pleasure, how you feel through your day. And it's something you can control.
We're talking about fulfillment, so we're talking about learning and growth. That extends tenfold with what you create during the day. And when you think about these things, okay?
So I do have one more thing. One second, I'm going to pull up my calendar because I created a school group. And okay. Yes. On the 5th of July, I'm starting a workshop for women for Dirty Talk, where they can have a community and actually practice this with themselves before they let it roll off their tongue with their lover.
I love that. And you know what? I would love to see added to that. How you going to dress up while you're talking dirty? Okay.
Yes, so the role play.
Okay.
Yes, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I love that. I love that you said that. So I love role play too. It's so fun, right? Like, why is Halloween just one day out of the year? Anyways, uh, but to really embody like this character, the and that is so. In the school group, I plan on having a lot of curriculum, including the dress up and really having some fun sexually expressing yourself all types of curriculum that will be in there, from the basics of learning sex education, masturbation classes, erotic story writing, where you create your own, you read it, but a community of women to be able to talk about things regarding sex. And what's beautiful in a community is you can receive the support of others, right? It's like, and you can meet other people that maybe either went through that, and like talking to people, the right people, or people that have walked through that path, those are some of the best ears to talk about something that you're also wanting to work through or talk about or just discuss, because there is this like this kind of big information gap with education and language, predominantly in America, but it's also a worldwide thing too. So that is the whole point of the school. There's going to be a lot of curriculum. There's kinks, the role play in the future. So lots of stuff coming in an educated format where there's some structure, but also the ability to flow and have conversations and chit chats.
Conversation like these and others are very important to bring people together, to raise the consciousness, and to raise our awareness overall. Okay, because we know the world has continued to change, so we have to continue to change as well, or get left behind. And that's where we're at today. Um, I want to thank you, Samantha, for such a powerful conversation today. And I don't, I love to talk about topics about the elephant in the room. Okay, because that's where we get our greatest lessons. Okay, and we need to have these conversations so we can continue to learn and grow and become the leaders that we want to be. Okay,
That's right. Yes,
absolutely.
I see you as a leader, and so I just want to say that. And talking about the elephant in the room is so important because it helps where we feel grounded, and going back to the awareness, like if it's there's a lot of it's like, oh, this is normal, or oh, I hadn't thought about this, or oh, that is why I was feeling so bothered. Oh, now it makes so much more sense. And there's this huge collapse in this feeling of ease when that happens for a lot of people, if that makes sense.
Yes, and as women, we are hormonal, so we need to understand
Yes.
how that impacts our sexual, every part of our lives. Okay, as we deal with hormones, uh, all of these things as we get older, and how it impacts our lives.
Yes, that is a whole nother topic that I could talk about for a long time. And yes, our hormones as a woman.
That does affect our sexuality as we get older. So we need to understand that, and the things that we can do to implement to increase our longevity and our sexuality in every
Yes,
aspect of our lives.
yes, our body changes quite a bit
Yes,
as a woman.
absolutely, absolutely. So that's another topic of conversation that we could have at another time. Okay, but thank you so much. I
No,
appreciate
thank
you, and I
you.
appreciate everyone else. Take care of yourself, Joe.
You're such a great host. Margaret, thank you so much for inviting me. It has been a pleasure to be here and talk about this. And I really enjoy our conversations quite a bit.
Thank you uh, very much. And thank you all for your time. You all take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you so
All
much
right,
for
thanks.
coming. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.